Hi everyone, I'm going to continue with Unit C. There's a couple of sections in the rest of the chapter that we're not going to have to worry about due to the change in the versions, but I'm going to start with linking our pages on page 56. So let me show you the easiest way to make a link. I have my file panel over here on the right, and I'm going to start with my home tab. Even though this is my home page, because I'm eventually going to copy this menu from one page to another, I still want to make a link for it. Down here I have my properties panel open. And I have two options here, HTML and CSS. Make sure you're on the HTML tab. Under the link, I could do two things. I could search for the file, but there's this little point to file. It's a little round circle, looks like a bullseye. If I hold my mouse down and drag, I can drag it up and point to whatever file it is that I want to link to. And then you'll see it shows up index.html. Now I can highlight About Us, grab my pointer file, and drag it over and drop it right on top of About Us. Just double check that you picked the right file. And you're going to go through each of these menu options and link them to the correct page. Notice that after I deselect them, they're now blue and they're underlined, which is kind of the default setting for a link in HTML, and we'll be changing that going down the road. So one by one, I link all these pages, all these texts to the pages which they're associated with. Now that I've got that all set, I'm going to come down here to the bottom and I'm going to add my email address after the mailing address. So I'm going to click right after the phone number. I'm going to do a soft carriage return, so I'm going to hit Shift Enter. I'm going to jump over here to my insert panel and I'm going to scroll down, and here's my email link. The dialog opens up and I'm going to enter in the text that I want the user to see. That's what they'll click on. And here is my email address, manager@thestripedumbrella.com. So the text that's going to show is going to be Club Manager. Then I click OK. And you can see it's formatted as a link and it's showing up right underneath the phone number. Page 58 in your textbook talks about the history panel. The history panel has been deprecated or removed. It no longer exists in Dreamweaver, so you can pretty much skip all of that section in there. The only thing we are going to do is add the horizontal line that's going to show up underneath the Welcome to Our Beach heading that we added earlier. This horizontal line will just kind of give us a little bit of a separation on the page. So I'm going to position my cursor right after the word beach, and then I'm going to go over to my insert menu again. Just position our cursor at the end of the word beach, and I'm going to come over here into a horizontal line, horizontal rule, and you'll see it drops a rule across the page. My properties panel has now changed and it's showing me that this is a horizontal rule. I could set the pixels to 950. And you'll see that the line gets a lot shorter. I could also click percentage and change this to 80. And you can see that the line is showing up kind of underneath. You could set the line to different widths. It just depends on what size monitor that you're designing your page for. But it just gives you a bit of a separation between the two. On page 60 in Unit C, it talks about viewing HTML code. In the new Dreamweaver, if you want to see the code, you can click on Show Code View. And so most of the word wrapping and all those options it's talking about on page 60 doesn't really apply with the new version. So you can just click with the code and it's automatically going to wrap. As you can see here, Gulf of Mexico and for it's automatically wrapping everything. I'm going to jump back to design view. One of the last things I'm going to do in this code, in this chapter is instead of having a date that's manually typed in, I can actually insert a date field that gets updated every time I come into Dreamweaver. Here again, if I look on my insert menu, here was my horizontal rule, and right below it is the date. So when I click that, it's going to come up with a format. I'm going to pick March 7th, 1974. I'm going to update automatically when I save it, and then I'm going to click OK. If you look down here, here was my original date, January 1st, 2015. That was typed in. I can get rid of that now. And now I have today's date, June 15th, 2017. So every time I make changes to this page and I save it, that date will be updated. And the last part, if you want to test how your page looks, there's a couple ways you can do it with the new Dreamweaver. I can go to File, Real-Time Preview, and pick which browser I want. I can also press F12. That's the shortcut key. When I press F12, it'll automatically open up. And in this case, it's set, my default browser was set to Internet Explorer. Another way you can just test a particular page is come over to your Files menu and click on my index page. And if I right-click, I can go Open in Browser, and then I can pick Google Chrome or whichever browser I want to see the page in, and I'll get a real-time live view of the page. Now notice down here it still says January 1st, 2015, and my club manager is missing. And you're like, and none of my links are working. I'm going to move this aside. That's because up here, if you look at the index.html, there's a small asterisk right next to the file. That means I have not yet saved this file. So none of these changes are going to show up. So when I do save the file, click Save, and then I go back to my website page and I refresh it. Now you'll see my links are there, the email link is there, and today's date is there. So make sure that you save your file before you preview it or you won't see your changes. That pretty much wraps up Unit C. You're going to do the Independent Challenge 1 on page 68. You're going to add keywords. You're going to add a description. You're going to change the page title. You're going to edit the menu bar. And you're going to enter a telephone number, an email address, and you're going to add the date so that it automatically updates. And you're going to just view the page in 2 different screen sizes and then save your link, save your work. To view it in different page sizes, remember we have the page sizes down here in this lower corner. So that's Unit C. Look forward to some videos on creating style sheets and working with text, which is going to be Unit D. If you have any questions, as always, please don't hesitate to contact me.